I've always heard that Atelier Ryza is a really good JRPG. One of those series people kept telling me that I needed to play, but I never got around to it. So when Koei Tecmo sent over the Atelier Ryza Secret Trilogy DX for Nintendo Switch 2, I figured it was finally time to see what I've been missing, and pretty quickly I realized something that I didn't expect. This isn't your typical grind-heavy RPG. It's a cozy JRPG that rewards patience, exploration, and creativity in a really refreshing way. Huge thank you to Koei Tecmo for providing me with an early review copy so I could bring you my first impressions as someone totally new to the Atelier series. Alright, let's mix things up and start from the top. Story, vibe, and what makes this DX collection so special. The Secret Trilogy DX bundles Atelier Ryza 1, 2, and 3 into one complete collection. These games follow Ryza, Stout, a curious island girl who's just itching to escape the daily grind and experience something more. Joined by her childhood friends Lent and Teo, Ryza's journey is about growing up, chasing adventure, and discovering her passion for alchemy. Unlike most JRPGs that kick off with saving the world, Ryza's story is smaller, more personal, and honestly refreshing. It's about that summer feeling of wanting to break free and see what's beyond the horizon, which I think is something we can all relate to at some point in our lives. The presentation totally nails it, the art style pops with warm colors, and the lighting looks absolutely beautiful. Even without HDR, the Switch 2 version looks great. It's 1080p, sharp, and noticeably improved over the Switch 1 releases. The sunset skies and the glowing fireflies during the night cycle give everything this calm, inviting atmosphere. And the music is absolutely fantastic. You'll hear everything from relaxing town themes to upbeat battle tracks that blend orchestral strings, and I really didn't expect the music to sound this good. I don't know what I expected, but after hearing it, I just wanted to hear more, and every time I found a new location in the game, I found myself looking forward to, well, I wonder what track we're going to hear next. The Japanese voice acting feels genuine, and even as someone reading subtitles, it all comes across very heartfelt. Ryza's banter with her friends, and especially her stubborn, no-nonsense mom, honestly made me laugh. There's a bit of that 90s sitcom energy in there that I didn't expect. And at the same time, I was reminded of my mom, who was very strict as well. So it definitely gave me a laugh that I wasn't expecting. So the world's cozy, the cast is charming, but what's new in this DX version that makes it worth jumping back in? The DX collection isn't just a visual upgrade. Each game has been expanded with new story content, playable characters, and quality of life improvements, making this the definitive way to play whether you're a returning fan or a newcomer like me. In Atelier Ryza 1 DX, you can now play as Agatha, Kilo, and Rami, and there's a brand new after story that bridges the events between Ryza 1 and Ryza 2. You'll also find additional side episodes fleshing out moments we never saw before. Ryza 2 DX adds Empel and Leela as playable party members, with an all-new side story featuring them traveling to the capital, plus a new cave map to explore and updated photo mode options. Ryza 3 DX builds on that momentum, adding Clifford, Siri, and Kilo as new playable characters, along with a new island and side stories that explore what these characters were doing post-game. Across all three games, you're also getting every DLC costume pack, weapon skin, extra map, recipe, and BGM pack that was never released, a new custom combat mode letting you spawn and tweak monster encounters for practice or challenge runs, expanded basket and storage limits for item hoarders like me, improved mini-map visibility, depth of field options, and even the ability to use gathering tools while riding your spirit beast in the sequels. All of this comes bundled together with faster load times and streamlined menus on Switch 2. So you're not piecing together content anymore, everything's right there from the start. So with all that extra content, how does the gameplay itself feel for someone brand new to the series? The Atelier series is all about alchemy, gathering materials, combining them, and experimenting to create better gear, better weapons, and consumables. It's less about grinding levels and more about crafting mastery, which you do actually have levels for that. Ryza's system uses what's called the material loop, which is kind of like a skill tree but for ingredients. You drop in items, match elemental types, and unlock new traits or effects. It can look overwhelming at first, but the tutorials ease you in, and once it clicks, it's genuinely satisfying. And if you forget how to do it, there is a guide in the menu that tells you exactly how everything works. Watching a low-level herb evolve into a high-tier healing potion through experimentation scratches the same itch as optimizing a perfect loadout. Combat is a hybrid of real-time and turn-based. You attack, manage AP, and build tactics levels that unlock multi-hit combos and stronger skills. Early on, it's simple, but as you unlock more characters and skills, it becomes a nice rhythm of timing, resource management, and big flashy finishers. The DX edition even gives you bonus starting items, which makes the early game smoother without removing the fun of learning. It's a solid blend of chill crafting and lightweight action. Think of it like cooking. It takes a while to learn the recipe, but once it clicks, you're like the next Gordon Ramsay. The Switch 2 build of Atelier Ryza DX runs in 1080p at a steady 30 frames per second with a noticeable bump in visual clarity over Switch 1. It does not hit the 4K 60 FPS that you'll find on PS5 and that I'm sure a lot of people want it. However, it still looks great, especially in handheld mode where the colors really pop. Load times are practically non-existent. Moving between areas, menus, and battles feels instant, which is a huge improvement over the originals. There's no HDR on Switch 2, but the game's lighting engine does a great job of faking it. Those sunset scenes and shimmering waters look incredible for what's still technically a last-gen engine. This version also benefits from the UFS storage speed of the Nintendo Switch 2, making gathering, synthesis menus, and saving or loading all buttery smooth. It's the first time these games have truly felt snappy to play on a Nintendo platform. So far, the new content and improvements are impressive, but how does it actually feel to play? Let's talk about pacing and fun factor. Alright, so here's the honest part. The Atelier Ryza games are slow to start. And I don't mean that as a bad thing. I actually love when a game takes its time to build a foundation. Just like Twilight Princess, which is one of my all-time favorite Zelda games. That game started slow, and then it turned out to be legendary. Some of the best books, TV shows, and movies start out slow because they're laying the groundwork for something meaningful, and Atelier Ryza is the same way. You'll spend the first several hours learning systems, reading tutorials, and unlocking mechanics at a very gradual pace. It can feel overwhelming at first, like information overload, but that is intentional. The game wants you to understand how every piece of the alchemy system connects before turning you loose. So I'll say this, if you decide to jump in, come in mentally prepared for a slow burn. Don't rush it. The early hours are all about learning, exploring, and laying that groundwork, and once it opens up, it becomes incredibly rewarding. And that's when the loop clicks. You're gathering ingredients, crafting new items, testing them in battle, and unlocking even better recipes, and suddenly hours have flown by, which is very easy to do on the Switch 2, especially when you're playing in handheld mode. It's got that same addictive loop as a good strategy game like earlier this year with Final Fantasy Tactics, where you just want to get one more battle in. It's not about cinematic cutscenes or high-stakes drama, it's about mastery and momentum. That cozy rhythm is what makes the trilogy so special, and with these 3 titles, hundreds of hours of content, quite literally. And the new custom combat challenges, there's plenty here for both newcomers and veterans to sink their teeth into. It just rewards patience, and if you give it that, the payoff is worth it. Alright friends, now it's time for my closing thoughts. As someone playing Atelier Ryza for the very first time, I get it now. The slower pace isn't a flaw, it's a foundation. It's building up your understanding, your connection to the characters, and your sense of rhythm with the alchemy system. For returning fans, this DX trilogy is absolutely worth revisiting because you're getting all 3 games, every DLC, new characters, new side stories, and faster load times, all in one cohesive package. For newcomers like me, it's the perfect place to start. You don't need prior knowledge, and you'll quickly understand why Ryza became one of the most recognizable JRPG protagonists of the past decade. At this point, I'm leaning towards a Thunderstruck recommendation, especially for fans of cozy, character-driven RPGs, and anyone who loves crafting or progression-based gameplay loops. However, I'm going to keep playing through the rest of the trilogy before I stamp that officially. So drop a comment below and let me know if you played any of the original Ryza games or if you're planning to start fresh with this DX collection on Switch 2. And don't forget to catch us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Time on the Nintendo Byte podcast with Nintendo Prime, Gamebird Classic, and Eric Moore, where we go over weekly Nintendo news, rumors, predictions, impressions, roundtable talks, you name it, we do it all there. We have new and reoccurring guests every week. And as always, remember, you're never too old to play video games.